My name is Daniel Morrison. I'm 32 years old, and I've been married to Emma for 5 years. 5 years that used to mean something. I remember when we first got married how she'd laugh at my terrible jokes, how we'd stay up until 3 a.m., talking about nothing and everything. Now I feel like I'm living with a ghost. Emma, I made your favorite, I said last Tuesday, setting down the pasta carbonara I'd spent an hour perfecting. She barely looked up from her phone. Thanks. I'll eat it later. I have to finish these blueprints. You've been working on those for 3 hours, and I'll be working on them for 3 more. Her tone was flat, dismissive. I sat across from her, watching her fingers fly across her laptop keyboard. When did I become so invisible? She's always at her architecture firm now, always too tired for date nights, always too busy to talk. I've tried everything: cooking, planning weekends away, asking her what's wrong. Nothing works. Your birthday's coming up, I said, trying to keep the desperation out of my voice. I was thinking we could have a party. Invite everyone. Make it special. She finally looked at me, but her eyes were distant. Sure. Whatever you want. Whatever I want. Not what we want. Just me, alone. Planning another thing she'll barely acknowledge. That night, lying in bed with 2 feet of empty space between us, I stared at the ceiling and wondered, does she even love me anymore? I threw myself into planning her 30th birthday party. If I couldn't reach her through conversation, maybe I could reach her through action. I invited her colleagues, our mutual friends, her family. I ordered a custom cake from that bakery she loves downtown. I bought decorations, gold and white. Her favorite colors. 2 days before the party, I stopped at a coffee shop to pick up the specialty order for the party. That's when I saw her. Daniel Morrison. I turned, and my heart did this stupid little jump. Vanessa Torres. My ex-girlfriend from college. Vanessa. Wow. Hi. She looked incredible, long dark hair, confident smile, wearing a business suit that screamed success. We'd dated for 2 years before life took us in different directions. Before Emma, it's been 7 years? She said, gesturing to the empty chair at her table. Do you have a minute? I should have said no. I should have grabbed my coffee and left. Instead, I sat down. You look great, she said, her eyes scanning me in a way that felt too familiar. Thanks. You too. What brings you to town? Work conference. I'm in consulting now. Corporate strategy. She leaned forward, genuinely interested. What about you? Still doing marketing? Yeah, same firm actually, senior consultant now. That's amazing. And you're married, right? I think I saw something on Facebook years ago. Yeah, Emma. 5 years now. 5 years, that's wonderful. She paused, reading my face. Is it wonderful? And there it was, the opening I should have shut down immediately. But God, it felt good to have someone actually looking at me. Actually listening. It's complicated, I heard myself say. Complicated how? I started talking. I told her about Emma's distance, her constant work, how I felt like a piece of furniture in my own home. Vanessa listened, nodding sympathetically, reaching across to touch my arm. That sounds really hard, Daniel. You deserve to feel seen. Those words. When was the last time Emma made me feel seen? We're actually having a party for her birthday this Saturday, I said. At our place. You should come. Catch up properly. Vanessa's smile widened. I'd love that. Walking back to my car, I told myself it was innocent. Just old friends reconnecting. But deep down, in a place I didn't want to examine too closely, I knew I was playing with fire. Saturday arrived. Our living room filled with people, music playing, conversations flowing, laughter bouncing off the walls. Emma looked beautiful in the emerald dress I'd bought her, the one that brought out her eyes. Happy birthday, baby, I said, trying to kiss her cheek. She turned slightly, and my lips caught the edge of her hair. Thanks for organizing this. Thanks for organizing. Not I love you. Not this is wonderful. Just polite gratitude, like I was the event planner. Not her husband. I watched her move through the crowd, stopping to talk with her work friends, particularly Marcus Chen, her project manager. They stood by the window, talking about some design project, and she laughed, that real, full laugh I hadn't heard directed at me in months. She seems happy, a voice said beside me. I turned to find Lily, Emma's best friend, watching me with an expression I couldn't quite read. Yeah, with everyone except me. Lily's lips pressed into a thin line, but she said nothing. Just gave me this look, like she knew something I didn't, like she was disappointed in me. Then she walked away. I'd had 2 drinks by then. Maybe 3. That's when Vanessa arrived. Daniel. She wore a red dress that turned heads, moving through the crowd like she owned the room. Your home is beautiful. Thanks. Here, let me get you a drink. We gravitated toward the kitchen, away from the main party. She complimented everything, the decorations, the music selection, the food. You did all this yourself? She asked, touching my arm again. Yeah. I wanted it to be perfect for her. She's lucky to have you. Lucky. When was the last time Emma said she was lucky to have me? I glanced into the living room. Emma was still with Marcus, now joined by others from her firm. She hadn't looked for me once all evening. Tell me about your life, I said to Vanessa, pouring her wine. What's consulting like? She talked, and I listened, feeling that old spark the way she made eye contact, how her stories included me, how she paid attention. We stood there talking for 20 minutes. Every few sentences, I'd look back toward Emma. Nothing. She didn't even glance my way. 4 drinks in, the jealousy burned hotter with each of Marcus's jokes that made my wife laugh. 5 drinks, and something inside me cracked. If she won't see me, I'll make her see me, I thought. Vanessa stood close, saying something about her hotel, and I stopped hearing words. I just saw Emma across the room, smiling at Marcus, and I thought, do you even remember I exist? Then I kissed Vanessa. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't romantic. It was calculated, desperate, meant to be seen. And Emma saw. The room didn't actually go quiet. People kept talking. Music kept playing, but in my head, everything stopped. Emma's face across the living room, her smile freezing mid-laugh, her eyes finding mine over Marcus's shoulder. I expected anger, jealousy, something hot and alive. Instead, I saw her face do something worse. It went completely blank. Disappointment, maybe. Resignation, definitely. Like she'd just watched me confirm something she'd already known. She didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't throw her drink. She simply set down her glass with steady hands, leaned over to whisper something to Lily, and walked upstairs to our bedroom. Lily's head whipped toward me, and the disgust in her eyes made me feel 2 inches tall. Marcus looked confused, glancing between me and where Emma had disappeared. A few guests had noticed. Most hadn't. Vanessa pulled back, reading the room with sudden clarity. I should go, she said quietly, grabbing her purse. Vanessa, wait. This was a mistake. I'm sorry. Goodbye, Daniel. She left. I stood in my kitchen, the alcohol fog lifting like someone had dumped cold water over my head, and realized I'd just detonated a bomb in the center of my marriage. I ended the party within 30 minutes, making excuses about Emma not feeling well. People filtered out, some shooting me knowing looks, others oblivious. Lily was the last to leave. She stopped at the door, looked at me, and said, "You have no idea what you just did." Then she was gone too. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step heavier than the last. Our bedroom door was closed but not locked. I pushed it open. Emma sat on the edge of our bed, hands folded in her lap, staring at nothing. Still wearing that emerald dress. Still beautiful. Still my wife. For now. Emma, Why? Her voice was eerily calm. I don't know. I was drunk. I was stupid. I felt invisible. And You felt invisible. She repeated my words like they were in a foreign language. So, you kissed another woman at my birthday party. In our home. In front of our friends. I know. I know how it sounds. I'm so sorry, Emma. It didn't mean anything. You wanted my attention. Still calm. Why wasn't she yelling? Yes. You've been so distant for months. You barely talk to me. You're always working, always on your phone, always with your colleagues. I see you laugh with Marcus more than you've smiled at me in weeks. I felt like I was disappearing, and I did something stupid and drunk and you destroyed us. She finally looked at me. Her eyes were dry, but somehow that was worse than tears. I've been planning something for months, Daniel. Something special, but it doesn't matter now. What? What were you planning? She shook her head. It doesn't matter. Emma, please. I need space. I need you to sleep in the guest room tonight. We should talk about this. I can explain. You just did explain. You felt invisible, so you made sure I'd see you. Congratulations. I see you now. Her voice cracked just slightly. Guest room, Daniel. Please. I wanted her to scream, to throw something, to fight with me. I grabbed a pillow and left. The guest room felt like a prison cell. I lay on the narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, my phone in my hand. Me, Emma, I'm so sorry. Please let me make this right. Delivered, not read. Me, I love you. I never meant to hurt you. Can we please talk? Delivered, not read. Me. I know I fucked up. I'll do anything. Please. Delivered. Not read. The alcohol wore off completely around 3 a.m., and with sobriety came the full, crushing weight of what I'd done. I'd kissed my ex-girlfriend at my wife's birthday party because I wanted attention. I was the worst kind of pathetic. The next 3 days were torture. Emma moved through our house like I didn't exist, except now it was different. Before, she'd been distracted. Now, she was purposefully distant. Cold politeness, instead of warm distraction. Good morning. Morning. Do you want coffee? Already had some. She went to work, came home late, slept in our bedroom while I rotted in the guest room. Every attempt at conversation got shut down with silence or one-word answers. I was losing her. Maybe I'd already lost her. Wednesday evening, I sat in the living room trying to work on a client proposal when someone knocked hard. I opened the door to find Lily, and she looked ready to murder me. "Where's Emma?" she demanded, pushing past me into the house. "At work. Lily, listen." "No, you listen." She spun to face me, eyes blazing. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I know I screwed up." "Screwed up?" "Daniel, you destroyed her. At her own birthday party. In front of everyone. I know, I was drunk and stupid and jealous." "Jealous? Of what? Marcus?" She laughed bitterly. "Marcus has a husband, you idiot. Emma and Marcus are friends. Good friends who work on projects together. That's it." The floor seemed to tilt under my feet. "What? So? She talks about you at work constantly. Daniel would love this. I can't wait to show Daniel. Do you know what she's been doing for the past 4 months?" I couldn't speak. Lily pulled out her phone, tapped furiously, then shoved the screen in my face. "Read it." It was an itinerary. Flights. Hotels. A detailed schedule. Emma and Daniel, Japan honeymoon departure. June 15th duration. 3 months Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, Nara. I scrolled through pages of bookings, museums, restaurants, traditional ryokans, train passes. She'd even written notes in Japanese phrases. "We never had a honeymoon," I whispered. "We couldn't afford it. She's been working overtime for 4 months to save money. She coordinated with her boss to get a leave of absence. She learned Japanese. She planned everything down to the restaurant reservations." Lily's voice shook with fury. She was going to announce it at the party. That's why she'd been distant. She was exhausted from working extra hours and keeping this massive, beautiful secret. The phone fell from my hands. I couldn't breathe. She was going to surprise me. "You ruined it. You ruined everything because you couldn't be bothered to actually ask her what was wrong. You just assumed she didn't care and decided to publicly humiliate her. I didn't know. You didn't ask." Lily picked up her phone, tears in her eyes now. "Emma loved you enough to plan 3 months in Japan. You loved yourself enough to kiss your ex at her party. You tell me what's worse." She left, slamming the door so hard a picture frame fell off the wall. I collapsed onto the couch and cried for the first time since my father died. I tried everything. I bought flowers, 24 roses, and left them on her car at work. She left them there until they wilted. I wrote letters. Long, desperate apologies explaining everything Lily told me. Begging for a chance to make it right. I slid them under the bedroom door. She never mentioned them. Friday evening, I cornered her in the kitchen. "Emma, please. I know about Japan. I know what you were planning. I'm so sorry. If you give me another chance, you didn't trust me." She spoke without looking at me, preparing her dinner like I wasn't there. "You didn't even ask me what was wrong. You just assumed I didn't care about you anymore and decided to hurt me publicly. It was a mistake. It was a choice. You chose to kiss her. You chose our home. You chose my birthday. You chose to do it where everyone could see." She finally met my eyes. "What did you think would happen? I'd get jealous and fight for you? That we'd have some dramatic scene and suddenly everything would be fixed?" I wasn't thinking. "No, you weren't." She turned back to her dinner. "I need you to sign some papers. They'll be ready next week." My blood ran cold. "What papers?" She didn't answer. That night, my phone rang. Emma's father. "Robert, hi." "Don't." His voice was ice. "You're not welcome at family dinners anymore. Not holidays, not birthdays. Nothing. What you did to my daughter. Robert, please, I made a mistake. You made a choice. There's a difference. Susan and I welcomed you into our family. We trusted you with our daughter. And you humiliated her in front of everyone who loves her. I want to make it right. You can't. Goodbye, Daniel." The line went dead. I tried calling Emma's mother. She didn't pick up. I left voicemails. Nothing. I was being erased from the life I'd taken for granted, piece by piece, and I couldn't stop it. 3 weeks after the party, Emma handed me an envelope when I got home from work. What's this? Divorce papers. I've already signed them. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the envelope. Emma. No. Please. We can go to counseling. I don't want to be married to you anymore. Her voice was steady. Final. I've consulted with Jacob. He'll represent me. It's straightforward, no kids, just assets. I'm not asking for much. Jacob? Our friend Jacob. He knows? Everyone knows, Daniel. You kissed another woman in a room full of people. I ripped open the envelope, scanning the papers. Legal language. Irreconcilable differences. Division of assets. Her signature at the bottom. I won't sign them. You will. Eventually. She picked up her car keys. I'm staying at Lily's. I'll get the rest of my things this weekend. Emma. Wait, I grabbed her arm and she flinched away like I'd burned her. Don't touch me. Please, let me explain one more time. I felt invisible. I felt like you didn't love me anymore. I did something unforgivably stupid because I was hurt and drunk and you gave up on us without fighting. She was crying now. Finally crying. And it broke something inside me. You didn't ask what was wrong. You didn't suggest counseling. You didn't sit me down and tell me you were struggling. You just decided I didn't care and brought another woman into our home on my birthday. I know. You didn't just break my heart, Daniel. You humiliated me in front of everyone I love. My parents, my friends, my colleagues, they all watched you kiss someone else at my party. How do I come back from that? How do I ever trust you again? I had no answer. Sign the papers. Make this easy. She wiped her eyes. I loved you enough to plan 3 months in Japan. You loved yourself more. That's what I'll remember. She left. I sank to the floor and signed the papers with shaking hands. Emma moved out the following week. The house echoed with her absence, empty closet space, missing photos, gaps where her books used to be. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. Work became impossible. Daniel? Are you listening? My client's voice cut through the fog. Sorry, could you repeat that? I missed deadlines. Stopped returning calls. My boss pulled me aside. Get it together or take a leave of absence. My mother called. Danny, Emma's mother, told me what happened. Mom, I raised you better than this. Her disappointment hurt worse than anger. What were you thinking? I wasn't. I felt invisible, so you made sure everyone would see you doing something horrible. That's not how you fix a marriage, sweetheart. That's how you end one. My brother Chris was less gentle. You're a fucking idiot. Emma was perfect for you, and you threw it away for what? Ego? I started seeing Dr. Ann Chen, a therapist Lily recommended, probably hoping I'd get my head straight. Too late to matter. Daniel, your actions stemmed from deep insecurity and poor communication skills, Dr. Chen said during our 3rd session. But understanding why you did it doesn't equal forgiveness. That's not how this works. How do I fix it? You don't. You learn from it. You grow. You make sure you never do this to anyone else. Vanessa texted me twice. Vanessa. Hey. I'm sorry about how things went. Want to get coffee? Vanessa. I'm in town for another week. Maybe we could give us another try? I stared at those messages with something between rage and disgust at her for the suggestion, but mostly at myself for ever opening that door. Me, don't contact me again, ever. She was a catalyst for my worst impulses, but I was the one who acted on them. One night, pathetic and desperate, I drove past Emma's new apartment. Through the window, I saw her sitting with Lily and Marcus, the 3 of them laughing about something. She looked lighter, happier, better without me. I drove home and cried in my empty house. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. I'd moved to a smaller apartment downtown, started genuinely working on myself in therapy, understanding my insecurities and why I'd sabotaged the best thing in my life. But understanding didn't undo the damage. I saw Emma one last time at our mutual friend Sarah's wedding. She wore a blue dress, standing at the bar, and she wasn't alone. A man I didn't recognize stood beside her, tall, kind-faced, making her laugh. Our eyes met across the reception hall. I could have avoided her. Should have, probably. But I walked over anyway. Emma, you look beautiful. Thank you. Daniel, this is Ryan. Ryan, this is Daniel, my ex-husband. Ryan shook my hand. Nice guy. Probably treated her right. I'll grab us drinks, Ryan said tactfully, leaving us alone. Silence stretched between us, months of pain and regret compressed into 30 seconds. I'm sorry. I said. For everything. I know I've said it before, but I need you to know. I understand what I destroyed. I understand what you were doing. What you'd planned. How badly I failed you. Emma's expression softened slightly. I hope you learn from this, Daniel. I hope your next partner never feels invisible. She won't, I promise you that. Good. She glanced toward Ryan, then back to me. I hope you find happiness. I really do. But I also hope you understand why it can't be with me. I do. She touched my arm just briefly. A goodbye and walked away. I watched her rejoin Ryan. Saw him hand her a drink and say something that made her smile, and I knew it was truly over. I left the wedding early, drove to my apartment, and sat on my couch staring at the one photo I'd kept our wedding day, both of us grinning like idiots. So sure we'd make it. Emma had loved me enough to plan 3 months in Japan. She'd worked overtime for 4 months, coordinated with her boss, learned a new language, booked everything down to the smallest detail. She'd done all of that while I sulked and assumed and destroyed everything. I'd chosen a moment of attention over years of devotion. Some mistakes don't get fixed. Some bridges, once burned, can never be rebuilt. Emma isn't coming back, and she shouldn't. I destroyed our marriage with my own hands because I couldn't be bothered to have a single honest conversation. Now I sit here, alone, holding our wedding photo, finally understanding what I had, and what I'll never have again.